How do you guys like
Green one.
Megatron?
He's pretty stinky.
Yeah.
Fucking love that guy.
Yeah, and Megatron's fun because, like, I would argue out of anyone else in the franchise, he's had the most diverse designs out of anyone.
I forget exactly how Theo put it, but he basically said he can kind of be anything. Like every incarnation, he shows up as some completely new thing, and no one is that bothered by it.
Yeah, it's interesting because regardless of the continuity or whatever, you just point at that guy and you're like, oh yeah, that's Megatron. He's just got that vibe about him.
Evil comes in many shapes and forms, and it is always iconic.
Exactly. And I was also really in the mood to talk about character designs, but I didn't want to do a whole tier list because those take an eternity to source, and I still end up forgetting some.
Yeah.
We really need to do that Batsuit tier list part 2 one day.
We really do.
There's more?
Yes.
That seemed pretty comprehensive. Wow.
I've forgotten at least 30 that I have found since then.
You had a lot of really weird concept art ones that I'd never seen, though, to be fair.
But yeah, that, and I realized my next project was a little bit larger in scope than I initially realized, so doing something a little simpler, easier for the time being. And I really wanted to talk about Megatron. I like that fella. So today, me and my fine gents are here to talk about Megatron. Why don't you two introduce yourselves? It's been a while.
You first.
Me? Okay. Well, you probably... The people watching this probably know me best as the person who plays Rotorback. What is the sequel campaign called?
The Lost Primes.
Return to the Primes and then the Lost Prime. And I am mentioned by my internet handle of Circuit, but in the credits of this video, I imagine it's gonna say like HJEart. Maybe have like my link tree. So yeah, I'm a player in Major's campaign. I am a freelance artist. So I know a little bit about art and character design, hopefully, and it'll be fun to talk about the kind of stuff that I prioritize and see in these different designs.
And Mr. Anno, what about you?
Hey, hi guys, I know it's been a bit. The name's Anno, Anomaly, Nom Nom, the guy living in your walls. I go by a lot of those. I'm that guy who occasionally does things here. You might know me the most by, our tier list videos of DC and Marvel comics and whatnot. Or you might know me as the funny French-sounding bot from another universe, also known as Spellstade. I draw, but not nearly as good as HGE.
You do good stuff.
Only him, huh?
Look. See, I can't really compare myself to you because you're a fucking comic artist.
Yes, that's right. God, I'm not even doing that intentionally anymore. It just happens.
But yeah. Hi guys. It's been a bit.
But yeah, basically how this is gonna work is today we've all taken 5 of our favorite Megatron designs and we're just gonna go around the table, even though none of us are here in person, just talk about what we like because these Megatrons are pretty neat. And I'll give like my number 4, then Anno's number 4, and Circuit's number 4. But we'll go in a circle basically.
Do you want to do honorable mentions first, or?
We can do that before our number 1.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah, with that being said, Mr. Anno, I think since Circuit here hasn't been featured on one of these before, why don't we let him go first?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea.
Okay, hang on.
So, what's your number 5, my good sir?
Okay, so my number 5 is Dark of the Moon Megatron.
I hate you.
God damn it.
Not because it's a bad design, but that was my number 4.
That was my number 5, number 4 as well.
That was not the reaction I was expecting, actually. I feel like a lot more people like this one than don't. But to sort of justify this, the movie Megatron and the design that they eventually went with, and I don't know if you've ever seen like the prototype heads that they didn't use that are really all over the place. It's not my favorite, but I get why they picked it because it's angry, it's got sharp teeth, he looks mad. It's probably really fun to animate. Um, but the thing that I really like about this one is that it's almost kind of simplified by having the cloak. Um, it's weird. It like makes it easier on the eyes, if that makes any sense. And the rust and stuff adds like a little bit of pop of color. This again, Megatron can be anything, so now he's a Mad Max truck. But the reason that I really like this one in particular is because the design immediately says what's going on with him physically and mentally in terms of like storytelling, which is crucial because this is a movie where the robots are barely in the shot for like a couple seconds, right? Like right off the bat, massive head injury. He's wearing a cloak. He looks like garbage. He's like sad and ashamed and obviously dealing with a lot. And it's immediately apparent from the design. And that kind of thing, I love it when you can tell right off the bat, okay, so and so is thinking and feeling this. That's a good character design to me.
Yeah, I feel like we can best summarize it by saying that this is Megatron when he's hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
And he looks amazing doing it. The asymmetry in his design and his alt mode and the shotgun just, mwah, fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's like, even if just looking at him transform, like his first scene in Africa, it looks kind of painful, like he's just struggling to get out of his alt mode.
It's like the only shot where it isn't a transformation where they're moving and there's so much like
Yeah, we're
like
ignoring how the
guessing it.
we're ignoring how the entire truck cab just implodes into his chest. That's beside the point.
Yeah.
And the other thing I really like about this is not only does the truck look cool, but I think there's a fun novelty to Megatron having an Earth mode, since he consistently
Yeah.
hates humans, so like him resorting
Yeah.
to an Earth alt mode helps add to that rock bottom feeling.
Yeah, it's definitely part of that storytelling that like, now I gotta hide. This sucks. What do I pick? You'll do.
And like, even though it's a completely different model of truck and looks nothing like it, he kind of works as like a cracked mirror reflection of Optimus.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely one of those designs where it feels like they could have done more with it too.
Oh, and he
I
has a
digress.
shotgun, and that's cool. I like his shotgun.
Yeah, I mentioned that. It's good. It's good stuff. I mean, come on. Transformers with like older style shotguns, like double barrels and pump actions, is just so badass. And if you combine that with like his poncho, it's just really cool.
Yeah, I loved it so much
Yeah.
that I shamelessly stole it for lockdown in our campaign.
Cannot
Also,
blame you.
shout out to Igor.
Oh yeah,
Megatron.
like the decapitated long haul head that he
Yeah.
was built from. That's fun.
You called it one of Longhaul's turds.
Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah, I think we've all said enough about Dark of the Moon. Anno, what's your number 5?
Well, kind of had to switch it around because I had a very similar thing.
Oops.
It's okay. It's okay. This was bound to happen. You know what? I think I'll go with animated Megatron.
Which one?
Well, his Earth mode. Simply because, one, I like his Earth mode better. And two, I just think it kind of works for him more.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
a solid choice. I would be surprised if one of us didn't pick it.
So, first off, Corey Burton, the voice for this guy, just, I love it. This, like, I'm not a big fan of animated's, like, design philosophy. Like, the shapes, the faces, the chins, it's just not my thing. But the writing, how the characters talk, their tone, how they transform, and just, like, their gimmicks, it's great. I love it. And you know, the color scheme for him just works to the little bits of red in his giant he's like a warlord, because that's exactly what he is. He's a warlord, and you know it really shows in this very I'd say dictatorship color scheme. You know what I'm saying? Like the white, black, and red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now he's got like those little accents of so it's like a I don't know. It varies between his robot and his alt mode, but it's like a violet to like a light pink.
Yeah, it's like a warm kind of gray that
Yeah.
complements the red. It's nice.
It is. It really is.
And like
Um,
expanding on the warlord thing, you can tell just by looking at him that even though he's a violent warlord, he's not stupid. This is someone who knows how to command his troops.
Yeah, that's what I loved about this Megatron too. He's smart, he's cunning, he's charming. That, I love it when Megatrons are charismatic and competent. Those are my favorite.
Yeah, when you can tell why someone would actually follow him into battle.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty fair that someone would follow say Dark Megatron because he's an absolute psychopath. But you know this. This one led a rebellion. This one started from the bottom and is now at a place that they just are willing to dominate everything that stands in their way. And just my favorite part about Animated, which I wish they did more with Autobots and Decepticons, how Decepticons are kind of like their own sort of race. They're the bigger, meaner, and more durable versions because they're the bots of war. They're the ones that actually did combat, and it really shows.
Yeah.
And if you guys know me, I'm a sucker for swords. The fact that he has that sword design, it's pretty sick.
Oh yeah.
Also, who doesn't love his alt mode?
It's just
so
a cool looking helicopter.
So true. But no, yeah, I have nothing to say but praises for its design, what he transforms into, his mannerisms. I can't say enough. I'd rate it better if the design were better and if it just weren't in the animated style.
Yeah, maybe a future legacy toy or something.
Possibly.
Yeah, they really should.
It also helps that this version of Megatron had such a strong impact on me because now if I read the IDW comics or whatever, I don't hear Frank Welker, I hear Corey Burton.
Huh.
He's my go-to Megatron voice, I would say.
Yeah, I don't know what you call those things on the side of the helmet and the shoulders that are. Yeah, there's something about it and what it adds to the silhouette that puts a lot of power in that design. It's really cool.
I think they're called his side nipples.
His side nipples. But if we want to talk about silhouette, I mean, the fact that he has so many jutting out parts gives him a lot more of a broader presence, which you know really helps with the fact that the animated style is so skinny and lanky all the time.
Yeah, and Blitzwing kind of has that too, but you'd never mistake this and Blitzwing if you just blacked out their silhouettes.
Yeah, and he's absolutely enormous in the show from what I remember. He's bigger than everybody.
Oh
almost.
Yeah. The Decepticons are generally pretty big, but he's a good head and shoulders above pretty much everyone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so if we're following Japanese logic of helmets, because if you guys know, ever since the start of Transformers, a lot of Transformers head designs were based on Japanese helmets. This would be called the shikoro. Designed to protect the neck.
Nice. Yeah, it makes sense he wouldn't want to be decapitated. That stands to reason. Even though he actually was in this show. Spent a good chunk of the show just as a head, so clearly it didn't do him that much good.
Look, he was blown up. There was a difference.
He was still a head. Anyway, shall we move on?
Sure.
Alright, so my number 5 is actually Shattered Glass Megatron. The original, not with the recent, Combiner Wars recolor. This is just a really nice looking Megatron to me. he's sporting those like early toy commercials colors where it's a much lighter white and a lot more black. It's obviously just a retool of like Energon Megatron, but something about this color scheme just really does it for me. I think it's the bright
Yeah.
blue complementing everything.
Oh yeah. Also, like, it's really underrated. I wish there were more like red Decepticon symbols on more Transformers because it just looks so good.
You know, we recently got like a core class Energon Megatron. Just repaint it as this. I might actually buy it if they did.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's it. It's just really nice looking Megatron. I haven't read the fiction it comes from, mostly because it's like convention exclusive material, which I don't have the means of getting. And I'm not
Or-
into it enough to actually look for it.
Yeah, or it's packaged with like certain toys or something like that.
Yeah,
It's
and
not one I'm familiar with, but the placement of like the black and red is really interesting.
yeah, there's a lot of nice contrast. He's
Yeah.
still got some red on him like most Megatrons do, but he's also got so much blue, and it just looks really nice. Don't have much else to say. Circuit, what is your number 4?
Okay, so you said anybody named Megatron was fair game.
That I did.
So I decided that I needed to say something about the purple dinosaur in the room, which is Beast Wars Megatron.
I
Um,
love you. You love me.
That is one of the things I gotta bring. It's interesting because, like, okay, Beast Wars. Well, we've got G2 Megatrons, and I think there was one that had purple in it. It was like a purple tank. I don't know if that actually got. No, I think it did get released. But it's not something that we associated with him. So purple and black, which is interesting because we associate Decepticons with purple all the time, but it doesn't get used that much. And I'm specifically, in terms of design, I'm talking about the animation model that Mainframe made. They had to look at the toy, and the toy had stuff that they changed and got rid of, like the mutant head, the like weird bat mask thing that can come over his face. They didn't really know what to do with that, so they got rid of it. And they also, well, because he's gonna have different expressions in this show. He's not gonna be sneering the whole time. Like Kenner sculpts loved to have sneering and sharp teeth. They got rid of that and they got rid of the sharp teeth. And it's interesting because it's like it adds something to his character, and I feel like David K like inadvertently picked up on that, this sort of odd kind of balance of like he's a savage guy. He could be brutal and ferocious whenever he wants to be, but he holds himself, in higher esteem. There's something kind of regal and interesting about his design. And I swear it is not just writing and voice acting. I feel like it's there in the design. And, like David looks at the design and goes, see, okay, I'm picking up on something here, and ran with it. And the other thing that I really like is that Mainframe had fun with the really weird silhouette and design and did stuff with that, with his personality, like, brushing his teeth. Like, he brushes the teeth on his T-Rex head hand. Stuff like that, I just think is really cool. Like, that's like using your design fully, is taking the weird stuff that you normally wouldn't have anything to do. Like, you don't know what to do with it, and then you're like, oh, this would be funny, or this would be interesting, or this adds some character to him.
And at some points you just see him petting the T-Rex head, which shouldn't make
Yeah.
any sense, but he just does it.
No. It's so great.
Purple is the color of royalty, after all. I think it works.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. This is a good Megatron, because a lot like animated, like, again, he is a brutal warrior, but he's not an idiot.
No.
And I think that's something David K does a lot of the heavy lifting for, because just listening to him, you can tell he's generally a pretty smart dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, do we have any closing thoughts about Beast Wars Megatron?
No, I think I'm good.
Alright.
I
Yes.
have one.
Yes?
So Beast Wars Megatron. Can we all agree that David K made this man far sexier than he shouldn't have been?
Oh,
Than he should have.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. It's totally fair.
Oh wait, I think what we all should be saying in response is,
Yes.
He did not have to call Cheetor Pussycat, but they decided to run with it, and so did David.
the sad thing is, and this might also be funny, but like I've been watching Beast Wars on the side while I work on campaign stuff, and I'm just doing that unintentionally now.
Good.
I've had to stop myself from doing it while I'm on the phone at work. That's how bad it's gotten. But yeah, with that in mind, Mr. Anno, what's your number 4?
My number 4 would probably have to be the IDW Comics Megatron.
Which one? He's had quite a few.
The Lost Light design.
Is
Like,
that like right? That's like when he does the Autobot switch, right?
Yeah, he does the. But I mean, the design that he kind of had remained, I mean, somewhat consistent.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't really think that there was much of a difference, to be honest with you. But there's a lot of things to say about this. The concept of him being an Autobot after, like regretting the many atrocities he committed over the eons of, tomfuckery that he committed. It's pretty cool to see. But not only that, I think it's all the best parts of what the Megatron design was in like the G1 era, but like updated, made cool, made fresh. Like it's everything the Megatron design, if you're going for like a true and faithful one, but with your own spin, should be. He's got like we've all been talking about, like that brutal but cunning warrior poet esque like feel about him, and that's really highlighted in the story of IDW. He's a writer. It was very obvious he's a freedom fighter, and the very like not regal but like very fancy like markings on his chest really help emphasize that.
Yeah, I always think of whatever that wiggly do thing on his chest is, which is a callback to
The original toy, I think.
Yeah, when he turned into a gun, that part became the backy.
Yeah, it's just like gun design.
Yeah. It's like a gun thing that they kept and kind of recontextualized in an interesting way.
I like to think of it as his chest hair.
Yeah. I think of it as like weird tribal tattoos, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. We don't know what it is. It just looks good.
I have a choice that is IDW adjacent. I don't think any of the IDW designs are particularly bad, but they're not ones that I pick usually because they read really busy to me. This is one of the better ones in my opinion because the busyness is details and not overall structure.
He's got like these really nice looking like greaves. Well,
yeah,
they'd be called like greaves and boot designs. Kind of reminds me of like medieval armory, but like taken up to like a futuristic standard.
Yeah, they pick the right things to not be blocks. Like the things that are round are interesting choices to do.
It just works.
Yeah, no, it works. And like aside from like writing and design, it's just like it's just very good looking. Like he's a handsome boy, as one would say. And I kind of subscribe to the idea of Megatron just being a gigajet.
Yeah. So yeah, any closing thoughts on this beautiful baby boy?
I think I'm good.
Alright, so with that in mind, Circuit, you stole my number 4, which was Dark of the Moon, and I'm mad at you for it. So if it's okay with you guys,
really?
So if it's okay with you guys, I'm just gonna skip to my number 3.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you better be. But yeah, number 3 is War for Cybertron, the game, not the Netflix show. Put your pitchforks away.
Oops.
But yeah, this is a really good looking Megatron. Kind of harkening back to what we said about the IDW Lost Light. This is what very much has that G1 Megatron look, but modernized and putting your own spin on it. And unlike, someone like Beast Wars or Animated, where, yeah, they're genuinely charismatic and you can tell why someone would follow. No, this one's a total psychopath and he looks the part. This is not the look of a man who has his mental faculties in mind, and I feel like that's reflected in the design. A lot of like jagged edges everywhere.
He's an edgy boy.
He's an
Yeah,
edgy boy, but they don't go too far with it, unlike Fall of
it's-
Cybertron.
Yeah, I believe I posted the war design and not the fall design, which I was having. I was like flip flopping between. I was kind of looking at them both. You stole my number 2 with this.
Ha,
But it's
payback.
funny. Yeah, it's funny how I definitely agree. The stature and the exaggerated proportions are for everybody in this game, but it's interesting what they're doing here. The red and the purple energy breaks things up really nicely. The tank mode has like a personality of its own. Like all the little like spiky things that are designed to move around and stuff when he's just kind of idling, and the way that it like the tank treads like flip out when he's like doing, I don't know, vehicle sprinting or whatever you actually call it. It's all angles. He's pissed off. He's mad all the time, even down to his face and the Decepticon logo on his back. And it's funny. I feel like the voice actor picked up on the design and did things a little different because of it. I don't know how to pronounce his last name correctly. I think it's Fred Tatasciore.
I can guarantee that's not correct, but I'm not going to correct you on it because I also can't say it.
I've heard people say it a million different ways.
It's Fred. It's Fred.
It's Fred.
It's just Fred.
Well, dear Fred has a really interesting Megatron performance that I don't think a lot of other Megatrons sound like he's not even really trying to do. He's kind of trying to do a Frank Welker, but he's not. That's not the focus.
He's just playing a raging psychopath, and it really works.
Yeah, he sounds angry, and it matches the design.
Yeah, and it's also enhanced because I noticed that he's noticeably more hunched over than 90% of the characters in the game.
Yeah.
And even his arms are asymmetrical, so like that adds to the kind of unhinged vibe. It's not perfectly uniform.
Yeah, that it's definitely like that posture thing I was talking about, that kind of thing. That is great.
Yeah, though the one thing that Ree pointed out while I was watching her play War for Cybertron, and I can't unsee it, are his little fish lips. If you've seen the cutscenes, you know exactly what we're talking about. I can't unsee it.
Especially when he has that giant face on the wall.
Yeah.
In the prison complex.
Look at me! I am a giant Billy Bass!
He looks like a singing Billy Bass whenever he talks. That's the only reason it's not number 1.
Good.
I think if you took the head from Fall of Cybertron and put it on this body, this would easily be my number 1. Specifically because he doesn't have the fish lips. Ree, this is your fault. But yeah, closing thoughts on that one.
I think that image I did post is Fall, actually. No, wait, no, it's not.
Those are for more.
Yeah, Fall has like the weird ribcage stuff, and yeah, the head is really different. I don't hate the changes, but there's something about them that kind of bug me.
It's way too edgy. I don't mean that as trying way hard to be cool. I mean literally edgy.
Yeah. It's really busy. Your eyes are traveling a lot on the torso.
But yeah, those are my closing thoughts. Mr. Circuit, what is your number 3?
My number 3, and I don't know, I feel like this is probably the safest choice I have out of a lot of them, is the Bumblebee concept art Megatron. And yes, the one that is getting a toy. And yes, I am that paranoid about it and have pre-ordered it already. So all the Bumblebee designs, you got to give this to me. They're very good. But the thing that I think that makes them really good, and some people have disagreed with me on this, which I think is interesting, is that they read as G1. Like, you cannot know anything about Transformers and take a look at the designs for Bumblebee and read immediately, for the most part, like almost everybody, I would think, that they are the G1 designs. The silhouettes are all there. the really interesting thing about it is the details. The face. The face is so like it's so fascinating to me because like, I've heard people say they don't like it, and I do. There's something genuinely kind of like scary
Like,
and weird about his
it,
face.
to me, it looks like his face has been skinned, but it
Yeah,
kind of
Yeah.
works.
he looks like a Terminator endoskeleton or something.
Yeah.
But he's not like with no teeth. It's not like he's just angry all the time like a Terminator. It's really interesting. Um, but yeah, it keeps that silhouette. You know exactly who it is immediately right off the bat, which is one of the my caveats for a good design is I need to know, even if it's somebody new, like a new character, I need the design to tell me something right away. And immediately I know that it's Megs. I know it's Megatron. Um and I honestly think that, in my personal opinion, it's one of the reasons why they wanted to go out of their way to do a concept art designs in Studio Series, because they slapped this guy on a repackage for Rise of the Beasts, and everyone was losing their minds. They were like, but what if he's in the movie? And what if he's like a teaser at the end? And what if it's this design? Oh my god, I can't wait. That didn't happen, obviously.
Yeah, and then
But
it kind of
just
became a case of, okay, this is too cool to go to waste.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm a little conflicted on this one because I like the concept art. The toy just looks off to me. I can't articulate why, it just does.
Hmm. Yeah, I suppose. I think it's pretty good.
I respect it, it's just not something I'd put on my shelf.
Sure. I cannot wait to have it there. It's gonna be interesting because I have Bumblebee, and then it bleeds into Rise of the Beasts, and it's funny because I'm gonna have it start with concept art designs and then bleed into ones that were actually on the screen, and then Rise of the Beast stuff, which is just it's gonna be cool to look at when it's all there.
Yeah. But yeah, that being said, I can't wait to see this guy fully realized in a movie.
Oh, that would be nice.
Hey, Hasbro, get on this. Mr. John Hasbro, put this guy in a movie.
I don't really have much to say about the design other than the fact that I love that it's a triple changer, like Megatron triple changers. I'm just one of those people who just isn't a fan of the design. I don't think the face works with the body. I feel like the body should have been a bit more stringy, and the cannon should have been a bit more like beaten up for this kind of body type. It's cool, I just don't think it works.
Yeah, I think that's fair because it's not like a finalized animation model as far as I understand. It's literally like these were some polished designs. And I think that there's like stages that would be in, like a production pipeline that we're not seeing. I think it would get if they're like tomorrow, okay, this design is going to show up in a movie. I feel like some of it would get changed a little bit and cleaned up, and they might mess with the face and stuff to make it easier to animate, so it's not so skeletal. I just think that for what we have and what we understand of the design right now, it's really cool.
Yeah, like, just given the nature of concept art, this could be just one out of hundreds that we're not seeing. So if we were to actually see it fully realized, it would probably look substantially different, but this is just the closest we got to seeing him in the movie.
Yeah, I wanted one kind of nebulous design that wasn't like that wasn't used primarily, if that makes any sense. And I went through a bunch of like '07 concept art, which is really all over the place. But I don't like any of them as much as I like this. So yeah.
You know what's wild to me about the '07 concept art?
Hmm.
Starscream's head was originally meant for Megatron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that
God.
would have worked, honestly. He's got
It's
the
right shape. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the bucket head shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've said all we can really say about this one. Mr. Anno, what's your number 3?
Well, we had some similarities, so I'm gonna have to go with my number 2 on this one.
Huh.
What was your number 3?
My number 3 was Dark of the Moon Megatron.
I'm glad we can all agree on that one.
Yeah, Dark of the Moon Megatron's great. But, so, my number 2 one, whether you're a fan or not of the show, I know some of the people here aren't. But I, with a passion, love Energon Megatron.
Get out.
I love the design. I genuinely feel like it is the best that Megatron has ever looked. It may just be because I love the art style of Energon. I like the bold, blocky like shapes, the mechanical detail, the colors, and just like the personality and attitude of this like newly resurrected Megatron. Who has been like receiving whispers from, Unicron, and once again he's a warlord, but he's also, like dealing with a lot more treachery than he has most of the time, because he's got Scorponok, he's got the Quintessons. Well, I mean, they're pretty much Quintessons.
Well, just the one anyway.
Well, yeah, just the one, but they're technically just different beings trapped in one dude. I'm not gonna go into that.
He just like me, FR.
And then, it carries on to like other like shows and continuities like Armada and Cybertron. Well, mostly Armada, but I love how he interacts with like Demolisher and Cyclonus, who would later turn to Snowcat, and it's just really cool to see the dynamic there. And the fact that his army is pretty much just like a group of like undead feral like creatures is just super badass. His alt mode and like the silhouette that it gives, it's not exactly Megatron. Some would say it's more of a Galvatron, but I personally really, really like it.
Yeah, this one's always been mixed for me because I don't hate the design. It's perfectly fine. My number 5 was this, but a recolor. I just think it works a lot better as Galvatron. If he does become Galvatron, it instantly becomes a great design for me, just with the color change. If I remember correctly, he was supposed to come back as Galvatron, but Hasbro needed to keep the trademark, so he just reverted to Megatron, which explains a lot.
I don't understand why people dislike the colors. I think it really works given the status of his resurrection, and also like I just like white colors on a transformer, especially one that's Megatron. I think the blue face looks nice. I think the red eyes are pretty cool, and like the little details of green. Also, his Energon sword was just really, really cool, and I love how the Autobots basically just like mass manufactured it with the help of the Omnicons, and just it's fucking cool. I love Energon. I love the Unicron trilogy.
Yeah. For me, the colors is really just because looking at it, it reads as Galvatron to me. That's all it is. If I didn't have that mental association, I'd be fine with the colors.
I think it encroaching on Galvatron does kind of bug me a little bit, but I can sort of get over that. The thing that I think is kind of odd, and it's not, it's more apparent on the animation, is the blue. And here's the thing, I like the neon green. You're gonna find out why I like the neon green soon. But the blue is weird to me. I don't associate, especially that like animation color shade of blue with Megatron. The vehicle mode is really interesting though. And I don't know if I look at it and go, oh yeah, this is definitely, well, I mean, Megatron can be anything. And a lot of her choices all over the place.
Sir, he's been a giant hand.
Yeah, it's just something about the jet that's like, I don't know, it's like almost too sophisticated. Like the little bird nose is really funny to me compared to the rest of it, but I don't hate this like design. Like you explaining why you think it's cool, I get it actually. I'm trying to appreciate it is what I'm trying to say, but
yeah, no,
it's an interesting choice.
Fair.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the bird nose either. Truth be told, I definitely feel like this jet mode should have been a bit chunkier, but I mean, like that aside, he's got like the regal fit very well, and I think it works with his character too.
What it really comes down to is, I don't hate it, I get it. I just prefer it as Galvatron, is all.
I don't know if this got released, and I'm having trouble finding like a better resolution of this image, but
Oh, the
these
black
colors are,
the black and green.
Yeah.
That actually does look pretty cool.
Yeah, this is interesting.
Yeah, I could get
Um,
behind that. I think it was some kind of limited release.
Yeah.
I think it was
Wish I
some
could find.
Japanese exclusive thing, but
Okay. Yeah, I
Oh,
wish I
that
could
color
find
looks
better
so much
pictures
better.
of it.
I
yeah,
actually really like that.
you know what? If he was that color in the actual show, that might have made the list.
Entirely fair, I understand.
So yeah, any closing thoughts on Energon Megs?
When he first like appeared and got resurrected was probably one of the most hype moments ever, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, they really
But
earned that moment.
they did. The menacing
I am back.
was pretty cool.
Yeah. Again, David K doing a lot of heavy lifting, as he should. That man can do no wrong. Hashtag not sponsored by David K.
Yeah.
So yeah, if it's alright with you guys, let's move on to my number 2.
Yeah.
So number 2, again, IDW, Megatron, the designs just don't miss. It's him as a stealth bomber. I really love this design.
Entirely fair.
And like the purple and the black is a great color scheme for him. I love that the fusion cannon is more of a railgun. And again, it comes back to the novelty of having an Earth adjacent alt mode, along with stealth bombers just being something we don't really see a lot of. Soundwave has been one a couple times, and I think Mindwipe and Revenge of the Fallen, but I can't think of many others that have been a stealth bomber, and Megatron just pulls it off really well. And he's got a lot of the tribal tattoos looking bits with the purple highlights.
Yeah.
You know, kind of similar to War for Cybertron, but at the same time not. If the Lost Light design is him trying to turn over a new leaf, I would say this looks like him at his absolute worst.
The peak of his villain arc.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
this is the Megatron who told Optimus to his face that he will just keep killing bots just for the sake of it to make Optimus mad, and this is a design that makes you look at him and say, yeah, I could see him doing that just for the sake of it. It just works. God, why do we not have more toys of this?
There is one, and it's funny because I'm trying to get it's like a recolor of the same mold that's G2 Dreadwing.
Yeah, wasn't that a BotCon exclusive?
No, it was there was a Toys R Us exclusive one that was Megatron. It was like gold and black. And then this one just came with a comic. It was just retail.
That looks like a sweep to me. I know it's not, but it being a blue and white stealth bomber just gives sweep vibes.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing, it's just an observation.
There's something about having like jet black on Megatron that I don't like for whatever reason, but I like you talking about the design, like what it represents in the story and stuff makes total sense. I do like the purple Tron line circuitry, whatever you want to call it. That definitely adds something to that, like what that character is going through at that point in time, like you were saying. Like just totally going all in and not the opposite of redeeming yourself, digging your heels in.
Yeah, this is a Megatron who was blown to bits, came back, and he's mad about it.
Yeah. And again, I love that Japanese helmet design for Megatron. I love how they highlight it for it.
Yeah, he's got the bucket head look.
Did you see did you watch Cyberverse?
Oh yeah.
I did,
Yeah.
I just didn't like it.
It reminds me of Megatron X in a good way.
Yeah, I could see it. Wouldn't surprise me if they took some notes.
Yeah, they did. There's a lot of IDW like references and influence in Cyberverse.
Man, where's the season of Cyberverse where they adapt Last Stand of the Wreckers?
Oh man, you know, I feel like that might have happened if they'd kept going, honestly. Like something like it anyway. Like things are getting crazy later on.
There's an idea. It's a friendly kid show. Last season is on Adult Swim, and this is why. Can we get Cyberverse greenlit for a 5th season just for this? But yeah, no notes. That's all I had to say about that. So yeah, Mr. Circuit, what's your number 2?
So my number 2 was the War for Cybertron design, which you already had.
Aha.
So I believe that means I do my honorable mentions then?
Yeah, what are those honorable mentions?
Okay, so there's a tie. There's a tie between two things for me, and they are not really related. In fact, I think they're good for two completely different reasons. and it was either going to be the Last Night Megatron or the Earthspark design. The Last Night Megatron, I think, is so different that I almost wish it was its own character. The only thing that I really think kind of communicates that it's Megatron under that is the mouth and the eye. Well, the face that's under the helmet, really. Um,
Yeah,
and it's literally an element that you don't see when the helmet is fully closed.
yeah, and when the
Um,
helmet's opened up, he does have that familiar bucket head shape.
Yeah, and it's also one of those designs that I feel completely different about depending on the lighting. Like I hold the toy, like the mostly like dark and gold, like dark gray and gold toy with like red light piping, and I'm like, this is awesome. I love this. And then I see it on screen in like broad daylight out in the desert, and it's just like, ugh. Oh, this looks like crap. It just looks like a guy in an oily suit.
Yeah, and one detail I do appreciate, even though you only see it for a literal second, is that on the side of his helmet you can see an engraving of like 2007 Megatron commanding troops.
Yeah, that stuff is totally lost depending on the lighting, and obviously there's not really a lot of good shots we can look at it. Those
Yeah.
ideas, I love hieroglyphs or like illustrations or stories built into somebody's like design or armor.
Yeah,
Um
you only see it for a second, but it is such a cool detail.
yeah, it really is. Um and the other choice, Earthspark. I liked Earthspark's design because it was I don't want to say playing it safe, but it was kind of like an interesting cherry picking of stuff that's worked in the past. It's got the Osprey thing going on, so it's like they looked at animated and they liked the vehicle mode. They looked at G1. They wanted it to be related to G1 for story reasons, because the idea is it's like post all of that happening. That makes sense. And then they took a couple bits and pieces from IDW, and
Yeah,
it's
which
interesting.
you can even
Like,
see in the reference image you provided. It's right there in the lower right-hand corner.
yeah, I'm so glad I found this like model sheet that
Yeah,
I
and
presume was the artist like presenting the design.
yeah, and if I remember correctly, it's even the same artist who designed the Lost Light Megatron who did this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's the
Huh.
same guy.
That
Alex
is cool.
Milne, I think. I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I should have done my homework. I should have connected those dots. That's really cool. Yeah, that, and I just like all the angles and stuff. I don't know why I decided that this one was an honorable mention. I guess because I felt like the other choices I had were stronger and for more individual reasons, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, really the main thing that kills this one for me is that his cannon feels awkwardly placed on his arm. Like it's way too high up to where it's mounted.
Yeah, I'm not sure why.
It's
I
weird.
guess they did it for transformation reasons, but it's funny that the toys don't really do that. I think the deluxe you have to take it apart and put it on the other side.
That's
Um,
weird.
Yeah, it's a decent toy, but
And I'd like to cycle back to Last Night Megatron, because I like the robot mode. It's a nice looking robot mode, and for some reason it just looks like Megatron to me, but the one thing that kills it for me is the alt mode. It's a cool looking jet, but like you don't see any of that in his robot mode.
oh yeah, I should mention that jet mode. It was supposed to go the other way around, and that's why on the toys the thrusters are facing backwards.
Yeah, and originally he was supposed to turn into a dragon, which I would have adored so much.
They should have done both. They should have had the jet like break up into pieces and then limbs come out or something. I
Which-
know I'm asking a complicated design to be even more complicated.
You
but
really
it
hate those
makes
toy
sense.
designers, don't you? But yeah, the main reason I bring it up is because they changed the alt mode but didn't actually change the character design whatsoever, so it just
Yeah.
doesn't translate.
Mm.
If he turned into a dragon, this would have made the list.
May I share my thoughts on both of these particular fellows?
Yeah,
Yes.
go ahead.
All right. So, first off, love the Last Night Megatron. Because of what I've seen, thanks to the beautiful engineers with no real budget, not only do I think this design works, but I also think it's probably one of the better choices and I think just out of the virtue of Megatron consistently not like letting other people influence him and wanting to basically do his own thing, I think a jet works. Because I mean, it's what he had like first time around.
Yeah.
I think it's just pretty in character for him to stick to that. Second off, I love the gimmick with his mask. Wish they did more of it for Megatron instead of Optimus.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And the red face paint was a nice touch while it lasted.
Yeah. And then the Earthspark. I'm really not a fan. I don't know. It's just, you know, you'd think the guy who designed, you know, the Lost Light Megatron would make something better, but this just feels like a downgrade in every sense of the word. It's just, I don't know what it is. It's just the art style of Earthspark that just doesn't feel good to look at, you know?
I think it's really just the art style. Plus, they have to figure out how to turn this into a toy, even though the toy line really didn't try.
Yeah, they gotta adhere to an art director, and then they gotta adhere to like.
Yeah, Lost Light
essentially what
Megatron
Hasbro says.
is just a cool drawing. He doesn't have to worry about making it transform into a toy.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, like, not only has it happened, but it's also worked, and it may have been third party, but it's also a lot of consistent third party designs able to like actually like achieve this. I genuinely think that every like design, well, not every design, but most designs are fully capable of, you know, being like transformable toys. It just kind of like depends on like who's willing to go that far in order to profit off of this niche thing.
Yeah.
But
Budgets don't help, obviously, but yeah.
yeah,
And
I really,
toy regulations.
as much as I love Earthspark's writing, like it's really good. You guys should go watch Earthspark.
Yeah, go watch Earthspark. It's really good.
I just think their art sucks and their designs. I like this design for like how like edgy and like rectangular and angular like Megatron is just doesn't fit with how like round his Osprey mode is.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah, I do think that's fair. This I think partially because this is like like an idealized model sheet. I like the vehicle mode isn't exactly how it looks in the show. I think it's a little different. But
It's
yeah, I'd have to
rounder
agree.
in the show.
Yeah, I guess you're right. There's not as many panels and stuff.
Yeah.
The thing about Earthspark, I just briefly, is that I do feel like there was some sort of kind of divide. Like the Terran designs are all really good, but it's almost kind of like they feel like they're from a completely different show as opposed to everybody else.
Well,
Yeah.
Terrans also have the benefit of being original characters, so you can't be like, oh, that's not how X is supposed to look.
Yeah, and they don't have to fight a new art style and stuff. There's a couple returning characters that I think are really, really good design-wise, like Bumblebee and stuff, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, no, I totally see where you're coming from.
I feel like what would have forgave this design for me is if they gave this Megatron or Earthspark a dad bod. Like if they gave him like a big old gut, I think it would have worked.
I kind of want to see that now.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense storytelling wise.
Okay, hear me out. Not only add the dad bod, but like for the feet, imply the shape of socks and sandals.
Yes, and give him facial hair. He needs facial hair.
Yes.
I don't know why they didn't do it with Megatron when they did it with Wheeljack.
Hey, to be fair, Wheeljack just always looks amazing with a beard.
Fair enough.
Barbecue with your uncle Megatron.
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
But yeah, Anno, what is your honorable mention?
My my honorable mention.
I don't like that laugh.
All right. I gotta be serious about this. Let me let me get the image.
I don't like
Oh,
where this is
boy.
going.
This is either gonna be like I never thought of this choice, or it's gonna be like a troll thing.
Knowing Anno, it's definitely going to be a troll thing.
Oh
Family
boy.
Guy Megatron.
Yes! I will not take this from someone who turns into a canoe!
uh, unironically, I love their I love Seth MacFarlane's like redesign of him.
You
He
can
just
tell.
like G1 is dated, but I feel like this is generally like a nicer update that could have been accomplishable in the past. It kind of reminds me of like, you guys know Superhero Squad.
Yeah?
Yes.
It kind of
Yeah.
reminds me of the art style, like the squanchy proportions.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely with the hands too. I see it.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
you can definitely tell someone on Family Guy, probably McFarlane himself, is a big Transformers fan, because on the rare occasions they show up, they put, like, more effort into how the Transformers look than all of the actual characters. Like, Megatron genuinely looks good every time he shows up.
What is it? He goes like a what is it? A bat mitzvah or something, and Optimus shows up and he has a yarmulke and like the shawl, and then
Yeah,
he
you hear
goes
the
like,
little-
I didn't know he was Jewish.
Yeah, you hear the little transformation sound as the thing goes down his shoulders.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
they did the colors wrong on purpose, if I remember correctly,
Oh,
for
yeah,
that
absolutely.
gag. But yeah, no, you're right. Like they got, it's not like mushy, you know. It's a solid, mechanical looking design for just like these brief kind of jokes.
Yeah.
I can't believe I agree with you on this, but
They-
yeah.
The impressive and kind of surprising thing is they even get Frank Welker back for these gags.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's great.
I want to know how that conversation went.
Look, this couldn't have been any worse than that time Optimus had sex with a blonde woman.
I don't remember that
right.
one, but I'm going to take your word for it.
Okay. Watch
Oh.
Family Guy if you haven't.
No.
Only the older seasons, though.
You know
Yeah.
what? That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, with that in mind, my honorable mention is animated Megatron, but his Cybertronian mode.
Oh boy.
Ah.
It's like, I respect the animated Earth mode. I like it. It's pretty good. I just slightly prefer this one. It's a
You
good.
like the edges.
Yeah, I like all those edges.
The only thing that bugs me is trying to get the head to kind of look like the Bay movies,
Yeah.
which is admirable. I really love the spikes on
Yeah.
the feet, the kind of like buckles and the pointy toes.
Yeah, which become like VTOL fans in the jet mode.
Yeah,
Yeah, this was a happy middle ground, I think, between the first Bay movie and G1. Very much
Yeah,
takes the kind of
definitely.
silhouette, but slap some G1 colors on it and make it cohesive, because God knows trying to translate that literally into a 2D art style would have been a nightmare for the animators.
oh yeah.
Yeah, this expanding on what Anno said about the Earth mode, this is just a mean-looking Megatron, but he doesn't look stupid. He's got this dignified air about him.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts, Mr. Anno?
Yeah, no. I like this design, but I liked it slightly less than the Earth one, just because I think it leans too much into the whole like feared Savage Warrior thing, which I think worked for like the first the first episode that he was in.
Yeah, the first time they see him, he should be absolutely terrifying, because up to this point he was just like the stuff of legends. So to actually have to deal with him in person should be terrifying.
Oh yeah.
And it was.
Yeah, thoroughly traumatizing. Because, like I said, the Autobots and Decepticons have been so separate for so long that at this point, like, they were their own, like, subspecies, I feel. But, yeah, no, it's a good design. I actually kind of like the red, like, gem details on, like, his knee pads for, like, his sort of, like, leg plates.
Yeah.
And the torso is pretty cool, yeah.
He's a good looking Megs.
Yeah.
So yeah, with that in mind, Mr. Circuit, what is your number one?
Okay. This one is a doozy.
Oh boy.
It is the year 2006.
I don't like where this is going.
There's no Bayformers movie. The classics line is rolling along. and it's like starting off kind of slowly. You've got updates of, I forget exactly what was there like at the beginning, but I know Optimus was there, and Optimus was kind of a boxy truck, but the vibe was that it was, you know, G1 characters, but kind of stylized with modern looking vehicle modes and stuff like that. And the Megatron that went with him, not that 2-pack with the tank, although that as a troll choice would have been funny.
Yeah.
No, my number one is the 2006 Classics Megatron that turns into this Nerf gun.
Oh my
thingy.
god.
And I wanted this for years. I don't know why I did not get it originally. And I am specifically talking about the American colors, because other than the orange tips for safety, I love the colors on this thing so much, and it is, to me, it is really unconventional for Megatron. And I'm not picking this because, oh, he's a gun. He's finally a gun. He should always be a gun. You know, we've been over Megatron can be whatever he wants. I just think that the toy designers, like, they knew what they were doing by picking these colors, these really toyetic colors, and going, okay, this guy can turn into something that looks like, you know, like a Nerf gun, like something that a kid would play with. And it works in robot mode. All the shapes and where everything kind of leads, the slant of the legs, the feet are kind of big. The arms, the shoulders, it all works. And the head sculpt and the head design, the little, I don't know what the heck you call it, the like Kiss the band makeup over his brow and the like eyeshadow angles, like
His eyeliner.
Really yeah, eyeliner adds like a lot of personality to his face, and it's on like a nice ball socket, and the wings, yeah, like they're kibbly. If this ever got to be an animation, I imagine they would just disappear like magically, or I don't know, they would fold up or something, or maybe they would make them look kind of different. It gives him wings. It gives him this really like powerful presence, and if they were gone, it wouldn't be there, and it would feel like he's missing something. Like, I give him a cape or something. I don't know. Like, he needs something behind him. It's interesting I'm picking something that has no animation. It was never used in any kind of comics as far as I understand. I wish it was, though. Like, if I was gonna pencil a Transformers book tomorrow, my Megatron would look like this, or at least crib a couple notes from it. But yeah, I just love this thing. It's unconventional for Megatron in my eyes, but that's one of the reasons why I like it so much. But you look at it and you go, oh yeah, that's Megatron. That's him.
No, the funny thing is, as you were going on, you know, about 2006 and classics, I was like, there's no way. There's no way. It's the Nerf gun Megatron.
I had a feeling. But no, I love the design too. His face and like the markings kind of remind me of, you know, when David Bowie played like the Goblin King in Labyrinth.
Oh yeah.
It kind of reminds me like that. We need to have David Bowie Megatron.
Yeah, this is Megatron after he was really inspired watching The Crow. You know,
That's good.
I feel like, you know, come to think of it, if Megatron were to like any Earth movie, I feel like it would be The Crow.
Oh yeah, no, he would.
Yeah.
I can see it.
I don't want to dog on your opinion too much because you've made it clear why you like this, but I've never liked Gun Megatron. There, I said it.
Yeah, no, you're allowed. It's one of those things, like they had to roll with what they had in the 80s, you know, like that was the toy that they were selling. That's what the animation model had to look like. And I you know, they took a lot of liberties with that G1 design, to be honest, and I think it does work. I am not married to the idea that Megatron has to be a gun. I just think that the people designing this toy saw an opportunity and took it. And it's really funny to me that he's never been like a Nerf gun ever again. Like, it could have been literal. It could have been like, they have an Optimus one for Rise of the Beasts. It's not that great, but it turns into a working Nerf gun. Like, it stuns me that it's not a solution to the quote unquote why can't Megatron be a gun problem. I'm not married to that idea. I think the robot design for this could turn into different things. I'd like to see it. But first and foremost, as a toy design, I think it's genius.
Okay. You know what? I'll give it this over the G1 toy. At least he doesn't have a really unfortunately placed trigger.
Yeah.
I gotta give it that.
It it's hard to describe. It tucks into his back and folds down. You can't really see it at all if you're looking like head on. It's like behind the wings, basically.
Yeah. I think if it were to turn into something else, I don't know what. I like the bot mode, just not the fact that it's a gun. So like, if it turned into some kind of car or tank or jet, then I could vibe with. Hey, if it's a jet, he can still
Yeah.
have that back thingy. There
It
we
could
go.
totally turn into a tank because the legs they look like they could house treads.
Yeah.
I could see it, honestly. And then the wings or whatever could turn into like the plating on the front, and then the scope, the cannon could like just sit in the middle of them or something. I could totally see it. I'm not saying this is like perfect, I'm not like Megatron should always look like this. I'm just saying that like I love this thing, and I wish people remembered this design when talking about Megatron.
Yeah. That's fair.
That's entirely fair.
I don't agree with it, but I respect it.
I do agree with it. I actually remember seeing this design in a toy fair whenever I was like 6, and then in a book fair whenever I was 9. I got this book all about Transformers and shit, and this design and this particular figure, this exact image too, like this photo, was what I saw in that book. I shit you not.
Well, that's a little confusing. I think Circuit created a paradox. Cause like I can
Is
see
it like,
I can see your shelves behind the Megatron. So
well, I mean,
Time travel.
it's not the exact shelves, but I mean, like, there were, like a bunch of toys displayed behind it.
Yeah.
There was the Megatron in this exact pose, and then he was also in a gun mode in like those what do you call it, the thin glass display boxes where it was held up.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It just gives me like vivid memories of that exact page on the book.
no,
I love that.
I'm choosing to believe that Circuit somehow created a paradox. That is my headcanon. But yeah, with that in mind, Mr. Anno, what is your number 1?
My number 1? Well, you guys know me, I'm a big fan of comics.
Oh yeah.
I remember the time I really got into Transformers, back into it whenever I was the age of 13, after, not being into Transformers for a while just because I had other things on my mind. Well, one of the things that kind of got me back into it was a few digital copies of the War Within comics. And this, and probably my favorite storyline, but also like my favorite of a few designs. And has been the inspiration for a lot of my art style choices would be the War Within Megatron.
Ooh.
I love the design. I love how his backstory like resonates with every single like choice and iteration he's made along the way. He was a mining vehicle that haphazardly, in the words of Jobby, haphazardly had a few cannons strapped to his body, and was just called a tank from then on. I love his sort of, he's got like that young upstart sort of like vibe to him, and I really like that in a Megatron. I wish they went more with that direction on him, at least in media. It's just like the third party toy of him is just amazing. Like, I wish there were less parts forming on it, but there's options to not parts form with it. But I understand why they did it, simply because, he basically just took weapons and just strapped them to himself. Like, that was it. He just kind of made himself a walking armory.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely reflected in the vehicle mode. That doesn't look like something that should normally have cannons on it, but it works.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one. I don't know if I've ever really liked this design or sat and looked at it and like appreciated it. I don't think I've read all of War Within. I think I had like one issue I bought randomly at a shop like a decade ago or something. But there's things I like about it. The treads being part of the shoulders and having like those massive, like broad, like crazy, like tall and broad shoulders is kind of neat.
Yeah, it's kind of reminiscent of Armada, but definitely not just ripping off Armada.
Yeah, and the black and the red on just the legs and nothing else. Kind of like his original toy is an interesting idea. I think that's kind of cool. It's got little things about it I like. But I definitely wouldn't rank it as high as like you did.
Yeah, I was going to complain that his fusion cannon on his arm was too small, but he's also got the bigger one over the shoulder, so it kind of compensates for it. So I can
Yeah.
respect it for that.
That might be just an option with the toy. Like you could have one on his arm and the other on his back whenever you want. Like you switch them around.
Yeah,
You can
it's an
see it
option.
in the comic too. It looks like he's got some cannons on his back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Also, like, you know, I like a cleaner, sleeker Megatron that's like broad and bulky. That's what I like most about the War Within aesthetic.
Yeah, the best way I can describe this, and I mean this in an utterly respectful way, this is loud and proud Megatron.
Yeah, bulk and sleek at the same time is really hard to
Yeah,
pull
this
off.
is a Megatron who doesn't do subtlety.
Yeah.
He's not going to just walk in somewhere. He's gonna Kool-Aid Man his way in.
He's gonna Kool-Aid Man, shout his name, shout his objective, and he's just gonna run on in guns blazing. Though, I will say he is a lot smarter than he is initially perceived. Like in some iterations where he's depicted as a gladiator or as a miner, he is he's a clever guy. He is a very clever guy, and if you haven't read the War Within comics, please do. I know the sleek and bulky art style isn't for everyone, but personally, I think it's peak design. And you know, the story's just mwah, go read it.
Yeah, I've never touched a single Dreamwave, but that's more of like lack of access than lack of interest.
Ah, it is Dreamwave. I remember when they first started, there was a comic shop I used to go to in Studio City, and I picked up. They did this. It wasn't that. Who did the Spotlight stuff?
That was IDW.
That was IDW. Okay, I picked up some of that, and then I picked up some of this, and I didn't realize that they were by two different people, but I could kind of tell immediately based on the artwork that something was different.
Yeah, and like some of IDW's stuff was originally planned for Dreamwave and got kind of Frankenstein into their continuity.
Oh.
Like Megatron Origin was supposed to be a Dreamwave story, but then it just kind of got shoved in because you know Dreamwave went to that big scrapyard in the sky.
Yeah, that's another video.
That's an entirely other video I'm not educated enough to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, my number one. Boys, are you ready? Now,
Guess so.
the rest of you said, oh, I don't think Megatron should always be like this. No. This design is what Megatron should always be, without deviation. This should be the Megatron going forward. Bishujo Megatron.
Oh my fucking!
Wow.
I didn't even. Oh my god.
I thought I had a wrench.
No, I'm
Wow.
joking. I'm joking.
Oh, well.
As funny as that would be. I just had to do a little bit of trolling now. Anno stole my number one. It's Lost Light Megatron. You know, this is my definitive Megatron for me. I even got the model kit from Flame Toys proudly displayed on my shelf. It is a great looking Megatron, and it helps having a 3D representation to really appreciate all the details. And I like that once he gets a cannon back on his arm, it's not even a cannon, it's a toolkit. So it kind of pulls the rug out from under you. This is a Megatron who looks softened, but he doesn't look like a pushover. He's noticeably rounder than a typical Megatron in some spots.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He looks softer, but he still looks immensely tough, which I think fits the way
Yeah.
he's characterized in this era.
Makes sense, yeah. I didn't think about it that way, but now I kind of see where you're coming from. Now that explains some of the design choices.
This is what I consider my definitive Megatron. Whenever I think of Megatron, it's this look specifically. It's still
You know what?
definitely got that G1 aesthetic, but you wouldn't ever mistake it for another Megatron.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, this is a really good Megatron, and I do agree with you that some people should really adhere to this design for perspective. But, you know, definitely not to the extent that Earthspark did.
Earthspark was kind of a weird middle ground between this and Round.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was one of the... Sorry, that was one of the reasons I made it an honorable mention, was because I felt like it didn't do enough to marry the elements. It just kind of felt like they were dropped on top of each other, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, but this is something I would genuinely love to see in other mediums. Get us toys of this. Get us this as a design in a video game. Put it in the movies. Put it in a TV show, but like actually commit to it.
Just even reactivate.
Yes, put it in Reactivate. I would, even if it's a paid-for skin I have to buy with real money, I would not hesitate.
Real.
Yeah.
And genuinely, Alex Milne is my all-time favorite Transformers artist, other than myself, of course. Listen, I put so much effort in those designs. I think I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, do we have any closing thoughts for today?
No, I think this was fun. It was interesting seeing, hearing like constructive reasons as to why some designs gel with you guys and some don't.
Yeah, thankfully we're not like other TF fans where we're just at each other's throats like, nuh-uh, you're stupid if you don't want Megs to be a gun.
Yeah.
That would probably get a lot of clicks and a lot of views, but I'm not interested in making that kind of content.
Imagine limiting yourself to that. You only have, what, G1, I guess, toys. Like, you know.
The cartoon, the original toy, the original masterpiece, the Nerf gun you posted. I think that's it.
Your joke answer could be, I don't know, Browning or whatever from, what was it, Headmasters?
Yes, I love Browning. Browning is great. He's just a little guy.
He's just a little guy. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I might do more of these depending on how this goes over. Maybe like a Soundwave video. He's had a lot of designs in alt modes.
Do we want to do Optimus? Because I feel like that's the next logical step.
Yeah, I feel like Optimus would be a good one.
We have a lot of choices.
Yeah, I mean, I might. The thing with Optimus is he's a lot more consistent, so it's just, I like this red truck over this red truck.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair.
I thought about it instead of this one, but I decided on Megatron because he's had so much more variety than there's more to talk about.
Fair enough. A lot of people are very particular about how they like their Optimuses, even though they're all essentially just a red truck in some shape or form.
Monkey, not truck.
Truck, not monkey.
Monkey, not truck.
Truck, not monkey.
Monkey, not truck.